Today's adventure takes us to a lesser-known area, 12 miles north of St. George, Utah, off exit 22, through Silver Reef Ghost Town that we've been before, and we found this beautiful oasis in the middle of the desert with probably the happiest cows we've ever seen.
In the middle of the dryness, there's a tremendous amount of happy cows just grazing with what looks like an orchard of fruit trees. Happy cows. Yeah, it's things like this you find alongside the road, or I should say through the road. When you're looking for locations, you never know what you're going to find. A road that turns into a waterfall.
Sometimes you have to take the road less traveled, and in this case, we had to. And we had to go through this creek, which was a lot of fun. A little sketchy for a moment there. It didn't know how deep it was, but we went just fine to look at this beautiful location coming up.
Welcome everyone to Weekend Escapades. As we've been on that drive on this long road, about 10 miles in. There's been a few creek crossings that we've had to go through with the vehicle. The road was relatively smooth considering, but there's a lot of water running because we've had a lot of snow and things are melting. Even though it looks extremely dry, we've had a very damp winter.
Now be sure to subscribe and give this video a like, as we're putting up new content all the time, and we appreciate your support.
A lot of rock climbers here, people that are gearing up. There's a tremendous amount of rock to be able to traverse, I guess, is that the word? Climb up and down. Let's get over here towards the edge and see. This is the beginning of it here.
Now, old Yankee Doodle Canyon is about 200 feet deep, and it is surrounded by vertical walls. And then the creek bed at the very bottom, it is sand and a little bit of loose pebbles. Now, I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a little disappointed, because when we started out on this journey, I thought I'd be down in this slot canyon going on a hike.
You can see it here, they've got
I'm not a rock climber.
Climbing gear tethered off to the rock.
But as I say, always make the best of a situation, so wait till we find this next location.
And head through here. See if we can get closer to the rim. Now it looks like, after talking with some people that were climbing here, there's not a real path to go into Yankee Doodle Canyon. It is here, it's a slot canyon. But you need to definitely rock climb or rappel into and then climb back out, because this is a definite slot canyon with no way to get to the bottom other than rappelling down. So we'll see what we can do here. Get a little closer, a little sketchy. The bottom is right there. You can see it's very smooth. By getting there, you're rappelling down those cliffs. As you can see behind me, this is the road we came in on, and the snow on the mountains behind us. Close to Pine Valley, Utah. We've been there before and filmed some of the pioneer houses and things that are there. But that's just some of the beauty and the sights that we're seeing. Panoramic, 360 degrees all the way around. And again, that is the rocks that are right around the slot canyon. Absolutely beautiful landscape.
All right, so let's get some boots on the ground. Up the road we go to find this new location.
Okay, so No Name Trail. Talked to some passerbys that said this was a good walk in to see some interesting rock formations. This is very close to where they were, I guess, mountain climbing or rock climbing. So we're going to see what we can find in the middle of these cedar style woods. All right, after observation, these are pinyon pines and junipers. I guess the pioneers considered them to be cedars, as with Cedar City and so forth is where we're at. A lot of the areas have names of cedar, but they actually are pinyons and junipers. And there's a lot of them. So these here, the plants, they're a little bit green. This is what they call Mormon tea. They used to make tea out of this, the pioneers that settled around here. So I guess you can make tea. I've never done it. Don't know what it would taste like. But when you look at that sitting out here in the middle of what is desert next to cactus, it doesn't sound like it would be that appetizing as a tea. All that being said about the Mormon tea, it was actually introduced to the pioneers by Native Americans as they used it, and it has medicinal purposes, as they say. And there's quite a bit of it out here. As you can see, there's a tremendous amount of different style cactuses as well on this unknown trail. Now our channel, Weekend Escapades, we constantly look for mining towns and ghost towns and things. And again, most ghost towns have a mining background. So a little bit of that right here is the kilns around this area.
And this is the kiln at Children's Forest. We are very close to this one. And this is one of the kilns in Old Iron Town that's just outside of Cedar City.
All the mines would take a lot of the product to the kilns, and these kilns were fired up by all of these pinions and juniper trees, mostly pinions, and they would heat up those furnaces, of course, to a temperature to be able to break down the minerals and products that came out of all these hills around the area. And this is suspiciously close to a Silver Reef, where we did a video on Silver Reef Ghost Town, and that's what they used to fire these kilns.
Now getting the wood to those kilns, and this wood probably used to build houses, was all done by wagons with horsepower and people power, of course. But these old trails we walk on and through these woods have a lot of old pioneer history that has a lot to do with the ghost towns and all the mining that happened in the area. And sometimes we just forget it when we're walking along the trail.
You can see the trail starts to change, transition from loose sand to rock, and a lot of it's just water erosion. And here's what I was talking about. As you get to the top, you can see the way the rock is flat and angled, and the trail turns into a little smoother. But if you dust all this sand off, you're going to have rock underneath. So the tops of these hills all rock as the dirt and sand wash off the top with wind and erosion. And a little higher, and you can see now how the trail turns into kind of off-camber rocks. These are all layers, as you can see, of years and years of rock, of topsoil that's turned to hard stone. It's a little side trail off the main trail. You come over here and you look out. That is Zion off in the distance. The mouth to Zion National Park. Absolute beauty. And then the snow-covered caps of Pine Valley, a beautiful location, cliffs, amazing views on this hike that we found. As you can see, the layers of rock as you go up each one of those lines in the stone is a different layer of stone or rock in the mountain. And this is going to go all the way up like stair steps. So heading back down the trail with no name, and this is the view you get all the way back down.
We hope you enjoyed this adventure to find Yankee Doodle Slot Canyon, and of course, ending up on a no-name trail. And until our next adventure, goodbye from Weekend Escapades, and those sure look like some comfortable cows. We'll see you in the next one.